this might piss off a lot of folks, especially people in between the ages of 30 and 40. I'm sorry, but I think the Attitude Era is overrated as hell.
I'm actually not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Now let me ask you, what is it about the Attitude Era that makes it overrated?
I don't like the fact. Okay, one of the things about me, like obviously it was top heavy. Mm-hmm. Austin, Rock, Taker, Triple H, Mick Foley doing their thing. Their top five was established. What I hated about the Attitude Era was that I thought the mid card didn't matter as much. It was so much smut and so much focus on shock value week to week because again, they're in this battle with against WCW to outrate each other every week. Who has better ratings week to week? That a lot of times storylines in the mid card especially just suffered. That you didn't get the longer drawn out storylines that the way you should. Like obviously you got about Austin. I'm not including Austin. I'm not including The Rock and all that stuff because they got that. Right. But I thought the mid card stuff. I thought the fact that there was less priority on the IC Championship was a problem.
Yeah,
there was less priority on the Intercontinental Championship, less priority on Tag Team Championship as well too. It wasn't until we got to the Dudley Boys, Hardy Boys,
Edge and
Christian, triple threat matches all the time that brought back the tag team priority again. Mm-hmm. But there was so much focus on the top of the card that I thought the middle of the card suffered a lot.
No, and again, I think that's totally fair. Is that like there's a tendency to simplify history, like we romanticize this, but we gloss over this, and you're right. Like when it comes to the mid card, and even the quote unquote curtain jerkers, like anybody that was holding the IC belt or even back then the lightweight the light heavyweight championship belt, like. Mm-hmm. Those belts got overlooked because everyone was focusing on the world title, the WWF title at that time.
And to be honest, even the world title, some degree, got kind of left by the wayside because, like, this is something that I've been saying for years. Stone Cold Steve Austin to me is the greatest superstar in history of WWE. Okay, but he's not one. But he's not one of the greatest champions though, because
I would agree.
Name me a title reign that stands out with Austin. Nothing because they hot potato that belt so much in that era. Mm-hmm. Austin wins in 14, loses to Kane 2 months later, gets it back at the very next night on Raw.
Yeah.
He spent go ahead.
Yeah, I could play devil's advocate there. Is that while the hot potato does make it seem like the title doesn't have enough value, you got to consider who was holding the belt at that time: Austin, Rock, Taker, Kurt Angle, Triple H,
Mick Foley.
Yeah, Foley. They had a lot of guys that were worthy of being, carrying the belt, but there were only a few folks that could be like the face of the company, like that is rare air.
I just like memorable reigns.
Yeah.
I like memorable reigns, and I also think all the WrestleManias in the era too were not that great. Like people say 17. Now I say that knowing that Mania 17 was still technically part of the era, but many argue that Mania 17 was the night that the era ended. So doesn't really consider it Attitude Era Mania. They wouldn't give it that, fine, but people consider that Mania as the night that the Attitude Era ended because Mania 14 was okay. 15 sucked. I'm sorry, I think 15 sucked. It's actually the worst Austin Rock match I think I've ever seen of the bunch they've had. 16 was awful. I watched it again recently. It's still awful. And again, 17. Okay, you want to consider it Attitude Era Mania, fine, but people consider that Mania as the very bookend of the Attitude Era. So
I would say the biggest point of criticism I've seen about 17, and I agree, is that there were too many false finishes that they watered down certain finishers for certain wrestlers. Like
Mania 17.
Yeah. There were there were several false finishes where it's just like, okay, like, we expect this person to kick out because they've already kicked out 4 other times in this match,
Right. But 17 to me still, in terms of quality, like match to match, I will say is probably the best WrestleMania of all time. Probably.
Yeah. If we're looking at the entire match card, I agree from top to bottom.
I'm actually watching it right now as we speak. I'm actually watching all WrestleManias in order. I'm on 17 right now as we speak. No, so you probably don't know this, but I took a 17-year hiatus from wrestling after 2002.
Yeah.
I didn't watch the current product until 2019. So Mania's 20 through 35, I have not watched in full.
Yeah,
I watched matches.
remember.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple months ago you had told me that that hiatus that you took. So I was like, so you haven't seen HBK and Angle at WrestleMania 21, or you haven't seen?
I actually watched a month ago for the first time.
Phenomenal. Yeah, and exactly. That to me, it stole the show. For that.
I've seen the matches that matter. I've seen the heist with Seth Rollins and I've seen Brock and Taker. The streak, and I've seen the big matches in between because. Mm-hmm. In hindsight, going back to watching them just because I wanted to, but to watch the entire show, I have not watched the entire show from 20 to 35.
Well, I tip my hat to you for going back and rewatching those from start to finish because it's rare that people do that. So it's good.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. A couple of WrestleManias I watch are tough watches. Actually, though, I will say, like I said, WrestleMania 2016, we'll call it tough watch. That's a tough watch. It really
was a tough watch. Yeah, wasn't that Oh, that was the Terminator theme one, wasn't it?
No, that was the four corners of McMahon's. The four corners.
Oh, okay. I thought I heard you say 2016. I'm sorry.
No.
You're talking about you said WrestleMania 2000.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rock
so
versus
Rock
versus Hunter versus Mick Foley versus
Foley and Big Show
and McMahon in every corner.
Yeah. Yep. That's it.
Yeah. Which, to be honest, you look back in hindsight, like. I don't know why they did that in the first place. I know they wanted to because of the big story they had with the McMahons at that time. But I thought at that time, Hunter and Rock were big enough to headline the WrestleMania themselves.
Absolutely. And the fact that we haven't seen that, and I mean, we can't see it now because of Hunter's health. Like he had that health scare a couple years ago. But it's a shame that we didn't get a Rock Triple H main event.
No, and it deserved it. It really did.
Yeah.
But I think actually Era's overrated as hell. I think it's over. Now look, guys, for the record, this is a podcast. Overrated does not mean bad. Okay, can we get there? It doesn't mean bad. It doesn't mean that it's not as great as you make it out to be. That's all I'm saying.